Great morning, holy brothers and sisters! For the 26th of CHESHVAN in the Kitzur Likutei Moharan, today's lesson is called Transformable Travelings. A person who is just wise and not a tzaddik can understand all this using his wisdom. He can know the letters that are present in everything. Even so, for him to experience and to derive pleasure exclusively from these letter combinations corresponding to he ate and drank and his heart was good, and to merit to have all his pleasures derive only from the letters contained in each thing is impossible unless he has attained perfection of the holy tongue. In other words, he has merited to break his physical intimate desire completely and has perfected the holy tongue to the point that he brings new illumination to the holy tongue, specifically to the letters that are contained in everything. Such a person then merits what is expressed in the phrase, "From Zion he will sustain you." Tehillim 23. That is to say, such a person's sustenance, that is, his eating, drinking, and all his pleasures, will derive from the Zion, the mark of the letters that are marked out and engraved within everything. We can use our intellect to understand many things, but in order to perceive super spiritualness, we need to connect our souls to the source through perfect purity. When a person has attained this level, his heart then grows radiant from it. For the heart lave is so called because it receives and is nourished from the best of the best. Zohar 3:221. From the 32 appearances of God's name Elohim in the Torah account of creation, through the illumination of the light that his heart receives from the 32 appearances of God's name Elohim, a person's face then radiates with this light, and his face is so clear that he can awaken other people to repentance by their merely looking at his face. For each person then sees himself in that person's face as in a mirror, and he sees how sunken in darkness he is. Thus, without castigation or rebuke, such a person will awaken others to repentance by their merely looking at his radiant countenance. Sometimes we can help others without rebuking them. If we can do good, others may see our actions and get inspired themselves. People find it difficult to understand why it is necessary to travel to the tzaddik to hear Torah directly from his mouth. Isn't it possible to study words of moral instruction in books? In fact, there is a vast difference indeed. For a person who hears from the mouth of the tzaddik himself receives the speech of the holy tongue in its perfected form, namely with fear of God. As a result, the listener merits to nullify and subdue the all-inclusive evil, that is physical intimate lust, to the point that he attains a real purity, which is the rectification of everything. Everything depends on this kind of purity, which is a rectification for all of a person's other desires and character traits. All this occurs only when a person receives directly from the tzaddik's holy mouth. But when a person who hears the tzaddik's words secondhand from someone else who heard it from the tzaddik, or even more so when he hears thirdhand from the mouth of a person who heard it from the third person who heard it from the tzaddik, this person is far removed indeed from this perfection. For with each additional person between him and the tzaddik, each time he falls from level to level. Furthermore, there is an even more radical difference between a person who hears directly from the tzaddik's mouth and a person who studies the tzaddik's words in a book. For a book is only meant to remind the reader of what was actually said, and all memory is rooted in the power of imagination. Therefore, a book is a different medium altogether, and it carries none of the advantages of hearing directly from the tzaddik's holy mouth. Whenever possible, we should go to great lengths to meet, see, and hear our holy teachers. What we get from face-to-face interactions is unparalleled anywhere else. As always, thank you so much for learning together. If you enjoyed this lesson, please remember to like, comment, share, and borrow. And please God, we'll learn again tomorrow.